welcome back to my channel. We will continue today with stories from Book Collection Volume 2, and we will just jump right in. So, the first story for this evening is called Stories. Chapter 1. I can't remember being a child. It's like I just woke up today. I mean, I know who I am, I know where I am, I know things we learned from school. I just can't remember anything about my past. And the things I remember, are they really my own? I know my name is Lennox. I'm 19 years old. I have red hazel eyes. I have thick, long, straight black hair and a snowy complexion. My 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 name is Lennox Clade. Today is the day we bury my beloved, my fiance Aiden. My Denny. My Denny is my Denny is my my oh, I can't even think it, let alone say it or write it. Okay, here it goes. I guess it's time to rip this dreaded band-aid off. My precious Aiden is dead. You know, it's funny how quickly life can end. Not haha funny, of course. You can be there, then suddenly gone, out like a light, no longer shining, no longer warm like a lit candle. Your life, the flame, can be at its burning peak, and the next minute cold, dark, and non existent. Our love, my love for him was great. To me, it was just like a fairy tale. That was until, well, I was there the day it happened. It was a very dark winter night. Snow dropped from the unseen sky like massive globs of paint flicked onto delicate paper. Aiden was driving and the road wasn't there. It was as if someone had forgotten, neglected to draw it. The world around us was covered in a mask of darkness, blocking everything in our path but our fragile hearts. Slowly we drove, frightenedly clutching each other's hands, holding on with caution. I love you, Lenny, he said in a voice so pure, so full and so true. I replied, I love, and I was cut off as the car slid to the side of the bridge, then crashing through the railing and fell into the water with a sharp, icy smack. We screamed and screamed, then the car was completely submerged into the deep blue. I blacked out when my head hit the dashboard, and when I awoke the car was filling, and blood slid down, falling from my forehead. Aiden, I croaked, choking on my blood. Aiden, I repeated. Looking closer, I saw that his seatbelt was lodged into his caramel skin. His eyes snapped open. Are you okay? He asked. I nodded. I think so, but we have to figure out a way to get you out of here. Try pulling it out slowly. I tugged on the seatbelt and it wouldn't move. It was too stuck. Aiden's eyes, like sapphire blue crystals, flashed with pain. He breathed in deep, only to hide a groan. The water rose higher and higher. It's no use, he sighed. There's no way of pulling it out. We have nothing to cut it with. I have no ideas left. Baby, you have to get yourself out. You have a chance. I need you to do it. Frantically, I said, no, I can't leave you. I didn't know how I could go on living without him. It was simply unthinkable, but inside I knew he was right. I love you so much, I said, kissing his beautiful lips I would miss. Our blood met and mixed together. I love you too, he replied. But you have to get out now. You don't have a lot of time. The water's rising and you need all the air you can get. I know you don't want to leave, but you need to understand that you must. Here, I want you to have these. Aiden handed me his dog tags from his army days. His name was engraved on it, Aiden W. Clade. I put his name around my neck. Okay, I breathed, our hands still entwined, interlocking. Goodbye, my love, I said, tears swiping down my face. He looked me in the eyes and said, don't cry, love. This isn't exactly goodbye. I'll always be there, in your beating heart. He placed his hand over my heart. He smiled, and for a brief moment I smiled too. I turned away to unbuckle the seatbelt, and I started to roll down the window on my side. By now the water was just under our chins. I looked back at him. I love you, he whispered softly, his blood lacing with the water. I love you too, I replied. Then I took a long breath, held it, and finished rolling down the window and squeezed my body out. The overall coldness of the water hit my entire body like thousands of needles surrounding, penetrating everywhere all at once. It was like a million individual jolts, shocking pain all at once, cold electric. My lungs felt like they were going to explode. I didn't know anything. I couldn't think of anything except up, survive, live. and after a seemingly long period of time, I was reunited with the night, the land, the air. I gasped for fresh air and swam to the side, to the edge close to me. I pulled myself up with difficulty. I couldn't feel my body, and gravity pinned me down harshly. I was so cold I was warm. The last thing I remember were these tiny flashlights piercing the darkness, raising a hope, illuminating strength inside of me. It was a lovely service at Aiden's funeral, but my heart hurt so bad. It felt like it shattered into its death, and the remaining pieces that were no longer able to fit were heavy. Though remembering his love snapped everything together, whole, healed in a perfect place. When the service was over, I decided to go home. I was all alone in my room when I heard someone or something sneeze. Stupidly, without thinking, I asked, "Who's there?" Chapter 2. Whoa, that sneeze though, it was wild. I felt bad ending Aiden's life, but things like that make or break a story. What about her? What will happen? What should happen to her? I yawned and looked back at the page I was working on. To my surprise, Lennox was home and somehow heard my sneeze. No, that's impossible. I didn't write that, and I didn't leave my desk. Okay, I'm losing it. I must be, I said out loud. Then words suddenly appeared right on the page in front of me, right before my very eyes. "Who's that?" asked Lennox. I heard a voice, but I was alone. Once more I called out, "Who are you?" And I added, "Where are you?" More words appeared on the paper. I blinked. "What on earth? Hello?" I said. The page spitted out more words. "Do you mean me? Can you hear me?" "Yes." I read off the page. "No, you're just a character I made up. Just a character, that's all. Maybe I just need some sleep." "Yeah, that's it. I've just been working too hard." "No, I'm real." "And what do you mean character? This is really happening. This is really happening. I'm real," the imaginary pen wrote. "Who are you?" I answered. "I'm a writer, and I wrote your story." "My story?" "Yes, I was just telling the story of how Aiden died and you escaped through car wreck and from drowning. I killed Aiden off." "You killed Aiden off? You killed Aiden off. I'll find you. I'll find you." I still don't understand any of this. How is this happening? And there's no way you could ever find me. You're just a character I made up. This is crazy. Maybe I'm asleep and this is all a dream. Come on, wake up. Wake up already. Or maybe I'm just working too hard. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's it. Wait, I already said that. Okay, just breathe. Just breathe. Okay. I put my pen to the paper and wrote. Lennox slowly drifted off to sleep. "But I don't want to go to sleep," the paper wrote. I shook my head. I started to write and don't you even dare. "I've decided to find you. I'll track you down." "There's no way. You'll never find me. You don't have that ability." "I'll write it in." I slammed the notebook closed, and right away it sprung back open. The book wrote, "And Lennox appeared outside the writer's door. I stood there waiting, so I knocked." I heard a knocking sound. I hesitated. I knocked again, the book said. "This is too weird. There's no way. I'm going insane. I must be, but still sane enough to admit it." One minute I was in my room, and the next minute I was moved. I was outside this writer's home. I don't know how. I don't know exactly why this happened, but somehow it did. I closed the book, and this time it worked. I heard another knock. I slowly walked down the stairs, through the hall, and I was at the door. Reluctantly I swallowed and reached for the doorknob. "Who is it? Who's there?" I asked. There was no answer. I breathed out. Okay, maybe it's just a coincidence, but there's only one way to be sure, I whispered to myself. I opened the door, and standing on the porch, exactly as I imagined her, was Lennox Clade. Chapter 3. "Writer?" she asked. I was silent in amazement. I stared at her and then snapped out of it. A few seconds later I replied, "Yes, but I have a real name. Writer's more of a title of my profession. My name is Ambre Maxis. Anyway, by any chance, are you Lennox Clade?" "I mean you no harm. I just need to ask you a few questions. How are you here?" "I don't know either. I just am." "Okay, well, I'm not just gonna throw you out. Come on in." She followed me into the living room, and I sat on the chair, she on the couch. It was quiet for a while. I broke the silence by saying, "Do you want anything to—" "Yes, mint tea if you have it." "Of course I do. It's my favorite," we said together. "I know," I said. As a writer, I put a little piece of myself in each character to have a better understanding of their emotions and their actions. So I'm you? Well, no, not exactly. I just, well, I created you from my imagination, so sort of in a tiny way you're a part of me, but so you just plan everything? How I look, what I say, what I do, how I act, who I am? Basically, essentially, yes. Well, not including now. I'll be right back. I went to the kitchen, made the tea, and brought it back. So, what is it you want to know? She replied. Why do you write of such things? What do you mean? Of pain and sorrow and loss? It. Why is my story not with him? Sometimes life is like that. What gives you the right to plan out my life, practically murder what you create, and pretend like nothing happens? It might not affect you, but this is my world too. My world created. Why can't we ever choose or decide for ourselves? I mean, I'm scared of when you decide to end it, of what will happen to me. You're a fictional character still. Everything comes to an end, and eventually, after a long time, so will I. Will it hurt? I don't know, but yours can be. I'll let you decide. Ambre? Yes. I don't want to, but I feel that my story is over. It's time, Lennox. But I have writer's block at the moment. What do you think? Lennox started to fade away, disappearing slowly, becoming invisible. What's what's happening? But I didn't decide how. Well, to be honest, it's not really for us to decide. But, well, I'm forgetting you. Your story, I believe, will end just like this. She didn't speak. You must not ever, I mean never, blur the line between character and author. What isn't real and what is. You're not real, and neither am I, for I'm only a character too. What? You served your purpose, to entertain, as did I. So now I can forget you, make you disappear, and tell a new story, a different story. No, wait, I'm only a character of another writer too, but I still have the power to end you. How? Silence, let me think. How should the story end? Decisions. I can't bother to think of anything good, so how about we just continue with your little disappearing act? No, wait, I got it. Stay right here, I'll be back. I stayed in place, not by choice. Words, they're full of power. What's going on? It appears that this is a character breakdown. The mildly sane can create things that become completely insane. The real author of this book, no, authors in general must have a huge imagination in order to create worlds such as this. But then who's to say I'm not really real in some form? I could have even been a dream. I came back downstairs holding my writing book in my hands. Fire in the fireplace still burned, drawing me to it. I approached it. Lennox tried speaking, only it was muffled. I rolled my eyes. Speak, I said. What are you going to do with that? Lennox asked. Destroying it. Why? Why would you do that? Well, some ideas should be tossed or put away for later because sometimes you may think it's good at the time and then realize that it doesn't really go anywhere. I thought she was going to argue, but she replied, I agree. I looked through the pages and stopped at the predetermined ending. How fitting. I closed it, then threw it straight into the fire. Hot, hungry flames ate at it, reducing it to ash, disintegrating it into nothing. Lennox was already gone. When the last page burns, so is Ambre. Thus their story ends along with their worlds, ghosts. They and their story have become ghosts, the type that existed once, but now are forgotten and erased. Erased from time, erased from the mind. Our next story for this evening is titled Mirror, Mirror, the Shell of the Broken Doll. Chapter 1. It was early in the morning. I was aware of what time it actually was. However, it was way too early, even for school. Unable to go back to sleep, I decided to pace around my room. I found myself at the window looking out into the darkness of the world through the thin spaces laced with the icy kiss of an unshy winter's leftover presence. Then I realized how tired I actually was. In fact, I was too tired for sleep. I slowly strolled over to my mirror. The floor-length lyre stood tall, surrounded by ebony-painted wood, edges cluttered with an array of various band pictures. The reflection was me, but only it wasn't. This girl had hair so white, as if it was obtained from the shock of fear. Her eyes were a black, too dark to describe, too vast to have an ending. Skin sun-kissed, bronzed by the day. She wore the same nightgown of a navy silk, the chest decorated with black crystal beads, but my hair was jet black, my eyes like pained sapphires, and skin of ivory porcelain. Tiny flames began to flicker in the girl's eyes, growing viciously against the dark. All I could do was stand there and blink. "Who are you?" I asked. "I'm you," replied the girl, her voice drowning out as the sound of my alarm clock brought me to life. I sprung out of bed and looked out the window. No frost, only the burning, unforgiving rays of the sun. I shook my head and got dressed. After putting on my fishnets and skirt, I threw on a baby tee and a long-sleeved, long sweater jacket that seemed to be addressed in the back. Obviously, all these items were black. After lacing up my steel-toed combat boots and fixing my fingerless gloves, again both black, I brushed my long hair into a side ponytail. My makeup was all black: eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, and of course lipstick plus nail polish. While putting on my makeup, I noticed that my reflection was still not myself. This girl was me, but the exact opposite, and my black was colorful and girly on her, but then all her colors just turned white. "Hello," she said, with a perky voice. Hi," I replied blandly. She giggled. "It's funny you don't know." "Know what?" "She's coming. There's nothing you can do." Who's coming?" "Oh, you're doomed, unless..." "Doomed? Unless?" "Switch places with me, you'll be safe, I guarantee." "No, you're not real, you're just a hallucination because I didn't sleep that much." "Yeah, I haven't got any sleep lately." "And why do you suppose that is?" Annoyed, I said, "Shut up or I'll shatter you." "Not unless I shatter you first, my dear." Puzzled, I ignored her, rolled my eyes, and walked out of the house, heading towards school. Chapter 2. As I walked up the cement steps to the brick building of Elms Grove High, I felt an unexplainable chill move through my body. I shrugged it off. Opening the door, I entered the school and made my way through the crowded, noisy hallways. At my locker, I pulled the items I needed and found Brett lurking beside the door I just closed. "Morning, Rave. How goes it?" he asked. I breathed. "It's bright outside, so depressing." "Ah, I see. How long for the dark raininess of the upcoming storm as well?" he said, melodramatically mocking me. I allowed myself a half-smile. Brett pushed his long, floppy, blue-black bangs to the side a little more and bent down to kiss me. His arms slithered around me in a warm embrace. It was only the two of us in the world for a moment, but then the warning bell rang. We stopped kissing and he whispered, "It's a good thing our piercing's on the opposite side, love. We'll finish this later. To the dreaded first period class we go." "Ugh," I groaned. "Can you drag me? I don't feel like moving from this spot." "No." Then he picked me up and carried me a few doors down. With the blush creeping upon my face, I said, Okay, I'll walk. Just put me down." "Why?" "You know exactly why." I was a little embarrassed. Well, more so now. Brett had a sinister smile on his face. He knew. "Is that color on your face? You're not becoming normal on me, are you?" "Oh, what a horrible thought." "Shush yourself," I said playfully, punching him. As I started to walk to history, he called out, "There goes wifey." "Shut up," I yelled, laughing. "Get to class," I turned back with a slightly pink face and a genuine smile of happiness. "Oh, look what the bat dragged in," said the pink-polished Chrissy. "Well, it's better than what you threw together. What, did a rainbow puke on you?" "Oh, quiet you." "What, no comeback? And here I thought I was on a roll this morning." She said nothing. This is the part where she would say, "At least I didn't get dressed in the dark," and I would reply with, "Ah, my home world," or, "Oh, honey, I am the dark." "Oh, come on, I basically left that joke open for you," I said. "Oh well, never mind. Did you do the homework last night?" "Homework? We had homework? Shoot, no wait. I did that in class." I should explain. Chrissy is my best friend, and we have that type of relationship where we sometimes attempt to make fun of each other, and it's okay because we both know that we're only joking. If we actually did fight, we'd probably kill each other and take the whole world with us. Chrissy's very girly, loud, and does multiple sports, whereas I'm quiet. I'm a funny bitch in general, as she would say, and a writer and artist. I'm usually very open to the people I'm comfortable around. Otherwise, I'm awkward and painfully shy, or brutal and creepy. But now I'm more out of my shell, as one would say. I'm still the nerdy one. And, well, as she puts it, she's my skin shadow, and I'm her clothing shadow. We're pretty close. Closer than sisters, though. From the minute class started, I pretty much bullshitted my way through the day. I mean, I did all my work and it was all correct. I really didn't care all that much today. By the time lunch rolled around, I was still in a bad mood. That was until I saw Brett's face. He was sitting at my table in the corner of the library and brought us lunch. Hey, his eyes smiled as soon as he saw me. Hi, thanks, I forgot this morning. It's okay, I knew you would. You usually do, he said, grabbing a chair for me to sit down in. Who could blame me? You're an amazing cook, he grins. Are we still on for later? Of course, I replied. When lunch was over, he gave me a hug accompanied with a long, passionate kiss. A kiss like we would never see each other again. I love you. I love you too, he whispered in my ear. As for the rest of the day, it seemed to pass by quickly after that. Chapter 3. After school, Brett walked me home. It was sunny at first, but as the weather predicted, rain poured down. I was balancing myself on a bench when it happened. Brett picked me up in his arms and put me down, hiding me in his trench coat because I had forgotten my umbrella. When the rain came down so hard that it blurred everything, he said, "Dance with me, my love." "Why, I would be honored," I laughed. He took my hand and spun me around once, and then placed his arms around my waist and mine his neck. Makeup ran down his face, and the streets were like pools of many streams. "You're beautiful," he said. A car sped past us, drenching our clothes completely. It honked loudly at us, and the driver stuck up a finger. "Damn cars, damn people," he spat. "It's okay, don't worry about it. You can borrow some stuff from me." He looked deep into my eyes. I'm worried about you, not me." He held his hand and we were quiet for the rest of the time. By the time we were inside my house, the weather was really bad, even for my standards. "I think you might have to stay the night because there's absolutely no way I'm letting you back out there with that." "Fine by me, and I must say, I like it when you're a bit bossy, it's cute." "Shut up. No, I mean it really." "Okay, well, first things first, let's get you into something dry." He nodded. Brett followed me upstairs to my bedroom. I went into my closet and pulled out a pair of black sweatpants. Luckily, some of my night clothes are men's sizes. Freaking stores just assume all girls want bright, happy clothes, so I get a man's size sometimes because they don't have my beautiful black. Dumbasses, I swear. "Here you go. Do you really need a shirt, love?" "For now, it's kind of cold, so yeah." I tossed the matching V-neck at his face, but he caught it. "Boo," I said softly. He shot me a dirty look. We turned our backs so he could change. When he was done, he said, "I'll be on the couch," and left. I took my bra off to change it, grabbed a plain black long-sleeve shirt and a pair of black skinny jeans. After wringing my hair out, I found myself lifted off the ground and on my bed. "You didn't leave, did you?" I asked. "Nope," he replied, kissing me. We stayed like that for a few minutes. "I've never seen you without your makeup before. You're man pretty." He laughed. "Well, you're woman pretty. Here's your glasses." "Okay, so you're sexy beast. My mistake." He groaned and playfully bit my neck. "Okay, let's go watch a movie. Can we stay up here?" "Of course." We cuddled up, watching a horror movie, finding ourselves asleep, only to be awoken by the credits. My head rested on his chest, and his arms were around me, holding close. I gently kissed his lips, and his eyes flashed open. In a strange voice he said, "She's here." Only he wasn't awake yet. It was my imagination. Then there was a knock at the front door. In their right mind, would be out in this type of weather? Well, me, but I never said I wasn't stupid. Brett started in his sleep. Quietly, I got up and made my way down. No one was there, but there was a package on the porch. "Who's it from?" asked Brett. "Brett, I almost punched you in the face." Almost is a key word. "Seriously." "Seriously what?" I jumped on him, tackling him to the ground. I pinned his arms over his head and bit his neck. Then he kissed me. The kiss made me lose my grip, and suddenly he was on top. "Unfair," I said. "So fair," he commented. I rolled my eyes, and he bit my lip. "Okay, so this package I started, what?" "Oh, the one that just showed up randomly?" "Yes." I opened the box and tore the paper around the package. "It was a doll?" I asked to no one. Brett snorted. "She sort of looks like you, and maybe you're just as cold." "Why do I put up with you?" "Well, for when I feed you, I take you out, I clean your room." He gave me a look. "It's your choice, I never asked. And most importantly, I love you and you love me." "You've got me there. Anyway, it must be one of my mother's orders. You know her and her collection." "Yeah, I don't know. I just find the resemblance quite uncanny." "Well, they do have those types of websites where you build your own." "But why? She doesn't like you the way you are. I mean, the dolls like you except for the fact that it's a girly version, a quote-unquote normal version." I'll just go stick it in her room. I'll be right back. As soon as my hand made contact, I blacked out. Chapter 4. Babe, are you okay? Ray, Brett's worried voice asked me. His words came to me as a delicate whisper at first. I felt unusually dizzy, almost drained. His warm lips kissed my forehead and my eyes stirred. Then slowly I opened them and re-entered the world. I'm good. I think, well, actually I don't know. I really don't know. His arms protectively wrapped around me. It's weird. Yeah, you're telling me. Come here. Brett lifted me up and carried me onto the couch. Thanks. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Stop apologizing for your ailments. Now, are you hungry? Now that you mention, I'm positively famished. Okay, darling, just lay here and relax. I'll be back in a bit. For some reason, I was terribly tired. I don't know why. I had a decent amount of energy just moments before this, but I yielded to my sleepiness and closed my eyes, faster than I thought. I quickly drifted away. In my dreams, there was nothing. A hollow darkness, an empty shell. Nothing. Nothing existed except a cold darkness, just watching, or rather it seemed or appeared to be watching, waiting for something. Hey, I heard a voice and I sprung into alertness. Brett. I don't know if you should be sleeping right away. I yawned. Yeah, you're probably right. What smells so good? He smiled brightly. I made some homemade pizza. Inside, I visually saw myself literally jumping up from the couch. Physically, I stayed put. My favorite, you treat me so well. I know, his grin widened. Now who's blushing? I said. He turned away silently to check on it. When he came back, he sat down next to me and pulled me close. We began feeding each other. By now it was really late in the night. Brett had fallen asleep, clutching my body close. I carefully got up out of his grasp and took care of the dishes. When they were done, as I exited the kitchen, I saw the doll standing up on the table. He must have set it there, I thought. Thinking nothing of it, I shrugged it off and joined Brett again. As soon as I sat back down, the lights went out. Brett, I whispered, gently shaking him. Yeah, babe. What is it? He asked. The lights went out. The storm. Of course. Probably. I'll go check the circuit box breaker thingy. You know what I mean. But I'll need you to hold the flashlight. Okay. So I grabbed the flashlights out of the nearby stand and followed him down to the abyss, the base of my house. After struggling, feeling around, searching through the dark to preserve the light, we found it. Nothing, he said. It's just shot. But at the same time, it almost seems like the wires were cut, or at the very least, precisely chewed through. Huh. Well, I don't remember any other psychos hanging around here, so, well, we we could light a bunch of candles. Luckily I'm in love with a witch, he joked. When she go witch, she never switched, I winked. In the main living room, we surrounded every surface we could with various sides of candles. Yes, the room was very dim, but we could still see enough. Just don't fart, babe, I joked. Well, it was romantic, he replied. He still laughed anyway. Alright, that concludes this week's episode. Join us next week for the conclusion to the story. Till then, stay spookied, my darklings and cats.